All right. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Facemask Fantasy. Welcome to Week 15, the start of the playoffs in nearly every league. One quick note, John set the stream up, which was very kind, but he's still dealing with COVID. So, John, if you're, appreciate you hanging out as long as you can. Obviously, this is still something that you're on the mend from. So, do what you got to do.
Yeah, honestly, y'all, I'm mostly gonna stay muted, so y'all don't hear me sniffing and coughing and all that crap, because nobody wants to hear that. Nick, your camera's out.
Do what you got to do to rest up.
Your
But
camera's
appreciate
out.
you appreciate you being here for moral support anyway.
Nick, your camera.
Did the camera turn off?
Yeah, it did.
I did. What the hell? Sorry. Let me sort this out. Why is it off? This shouldn't be doing this. Come on. Hang on. Sorry. It was literally just on. Yeah, I think I got it. Yep, I did. All right. Sorry about that. Stupid technical difficulties. All right, let me grab my phone. Just so I can make sure to look at the most recent updates. Here we go. T. Higgins is expected to play. I know he screwed some people last week. We have no choice. We have to fire him up if he doesn't have an injury designation. DJ Moore is expected to play today. Marquise Brown was sick all this week. He's expected to play today. Tyler Boyd is expected to play. He was originally diagnosed as being week to week last week after suffering the finger injury, but he's expected to go today. The big one probably is Josh Jacobs. He's expected to play after suffering a hand injury in Thursday night's game last week. I thought he maybe had broken a finger. It looks like he was all right. He should hopefully be okay today. People are hoping that they have their RB1 for the start of the fantasy playoffs. Ramondre Stevenson has a good chance to play today, so that's big with Damian Harris out. Your Kevin Harris's, your Pierre Strongs, they're going to be very difficult, like streams or dart throws, whatever you want to call it. They're going to be difficult to trust as long as Ramondre's in there. Maybe he doesn't take his full complement of snaps, but it's going to be difficult to trust that. It's going to be difficult to trust that situation. Trying to think if there's anything else. Mike White obviously didn't get cleared to play today. He's also, according to Underdog's NFL Twitter wire profile, he's not expected to play next week either. So, we're downgrading all Jets. We're downgrading all Jets when Zach Wilson is the quarterback. That is how it goes. Garrett Wilson, temper expectations. Corey Davis is out with a head injury. Elijah Moore have no expectations. And I mean, I guess the run game has the potential to be okay. I guess Bam Knight has a chance to be fine, but it is a tough matchup against the Lions. The Lions are actually a really stingy run defense this year. And while they're on the road, it's a little bit more favorable. But it is a tough matchup for Bam Knight and whatever combination of Michael Carter and Ty Johnson gets used to back him up. And with Zach Wilson, I just don't feel as strongly about the Jets offense until he proves otherwise. And then, of course, there's the World Cup. In unrelated news, if anybody's interested in the World Cup final, Argentina and France are playing right now. We got a couple of heavyweights. It's a good day for sports, just in general. So I think those are the big injury updates. If I missed any, we can obviously go over them. But I think that about covers it. Good to see everybody in here. Tim, Austin, Modern Dog, good to see you guys. You guys know the deal. It's win or go home today. And that includes Monday night, of course. It's win or go home. So start-sit questions are obviously going to take priority. They're going to take precedence. Any questions about anything other than start sit is probably going to have to take a back seat. We obviously want to make sure that we identify and prioritize anybody with lineup questions ahead of their playoff matchup. I would think for the most part, people have their lineups pretty much good to go at this point in the playoffs. You know who you're relying on. You know who got you here at this point, who got you through the first 14 weeks of the season. You're going to be, you're going to be relying obviously not just on your horses, but there are random ancillary pieces who you have a good read on at this point as well, as far as who to play and who not to play. But let's go ahead and get right into it. And we just, as always, ask for patience. We do try to go as much detail as we feel is necessary to help answer each question. Austin's up first. What's going on? Godwin or Bam Knight in half PPR? I mean, I would probably go Godwin even if it was Mike White playing. The fact that it's Zach Wilson leaves no doubt for me. Give me Chris Godwin at home in a must-win game for Tom Brady and the Bucs. The matchup isn't great, but I'm not worried about the Bucs receivers and Tom Brady when they're playing at home and they're playing desperately. So give me Godwin. Give me the guy who has, a huge opportunity for volume any given week. And then just in half PPR, the past few weeks, Godwin's been pretty money. He was kind of pedestrian against San Francisco last week, 5 catches for 54 yards. But prior to that, 13 targets, 8 targets, 10 targets. He's getting 6 catches. He's anywhere from 75 to 100 yards receiving. Catches a touchdown half the time. I mean, he's a must start. For me, Chris Godwin is a must start. Over a guy like Bam Knight. Gets a quarterback downgrade, and it's a bad matchup for him. What's going on, Tim? Pittsburgh or New Orleans? Pittsburgh is on the road against Carolina. New Orleans is at home against Atlanta and a rookie quarterback. I think you got to go New Orleans. I don't trust Mitchell Trubisky to sustain drives for Pittsburgh. Remember, sometimes with defenses, you got to look at the whole picture. It's not just the defense in a vacuum. Do we trust the offense to be able to sustain drives and help the defense out? I don't trust Mitchell Trubisky on the road and against a Carolina defense on the other. No, yeah. On the other side of that, Carolina's defense is playing very well. If they force Pittsburgh if they get a short field for their offense, and all of a sudden the Pittsburgh defense is behind the 8 ball, I would go New Orleans against the rookie quarterback. And for whatever it's worth, while they are not a good team, New Orleans is still not dead in the playoff race because of how awful the NFC South is. I would go New Orleans. New Orleans is still playing for something. Well, in their minds, they're still playing for something anyway. But that's all that matters. So give me the Saints defense, Tim. And just as far as Tucker, man, that's one of those weird games that he has once every 5 years. It's just that's the way the cookie crumbles. Missed a field,
He
missed
still
a
got 5 points though.
Yeah, got 5 points, but on a parlay that doesn't necessarily help you out. But yeah, missed a field goal. A field goal got blocked. I mean, and the Ravens offense couldn't get anything going. They struggled. They struggled mightily. I don't know what the Ravens were doing yesterday. They didn't run the ball enough. J.K. Dobbins was running very well, and it wasn't ever the Browns were consistently failing to put the Ravens away. Tyler Huntley was not good. Tyler Huntley was not good. I don't know why they didn't run the ball more, but I'm not the coach. In that matchup too, Dobbins had 115 yards on 10 carries, 13 carries, 125 yards. I'd say that's pretty damn efficient. I don't know what the Ravens were doing. He should have had 10 more touches. Or even if it's not Dobbins, I mean, Gus Edwards was running decently well as well. Whatever. And that would have put Tucker in more positions to score. I don't quite understand. Also, really quick, I'm just going to drop the link into our Discord so that everybody's aware. And if you're not a part of our Discord, it is I believe it's the second link in the description of this video.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Evergreen invite. Awesome community there of people who you can bounce questions off of and crowdsource. Feel free to join if you're not a part of it already. But I'm just letting everybody know in the Discord now that we're live. Anyway, yeah, Modern Dog World Cup. I have the World Cup final on right now in the background. It's like France just sort of had a possession. Nothing really happened on that one. But yeah, this is a good day. This is a good day for sports. The World Cup draws to a close today with two heavyweights between Argentina and France. I'm not admittedly like the biggest soccer person, but I will watch the World Cup like religiously. This is when I can, this is soccer in its highest form, in its highest quality. So, yeah, should be a good match. Elout, what's going on, Elout? Do you play Bam Knight over Swift? Let's keep an eye on if Quinnen Williams plays. If Quinnen Williams is out for the Jets, that's a significant loss for the defensive line. If he doesn't play, and in fact, the fact that he's 50-50 as it stands, I might just go Swift because I'm a little more worried about the Jets offense as long as Zach Wilson is the quarterback. Bam Knight should be fine. He should be fine, but it's a bad matchup anyway. It's not a good matchup. The Lions are very good at stopping the run. And Zach Wilson's back in at quarterback. I don't feel super strongly about that. I don't. As far as Watson, Hollywood, Rachaad White, or Tony, I guess I would say White is the floor and Watson is the ceiling, depending on what you need. I don't know, John, if you feel inclined to give anything there, but depending on the scoring, if it's standard, then I guess Rachaad White. If it's half PPR, then the receivers start to enter the interest. They become a more interesting part of the conversation. If it's full PPR, maybe just go Watson, something like that. It'll be interesting to see how Christian Watson does without or with Romeo Doubs back. I would think he'd be fine, but yeah, I might just go Watson for the ceiling Elout if it's especially if it's full PPR. If you think you need the big play, take the big play. But I do like Rachaad White. There's nothing super scary about the matchup. And I do think he's the Bucs. Fournette might get the first snap, but Rachaad White is playing better right now. He is the better running back for the Bucs. Yeah. The objective, what's going on? You're in a bad spot. Let's see if we can figure it out. In full PPR, Dylan or JMO? Dylan. I'll take Dylan, which I don't feel great about, but the Jets secondary is maybe feels like the most difficult matchup right now in the league for opposing wide receivers. Sauce Gardner is absolutely killing it, and the Lions just aren't as good on the road. It's just the proof is in the numbers. Goff has 2 passing touchdowns on the road this year. I mean, it's in 5 games. See, the Lions have not played a ton of, they still have a lot of road games left to finish off. I think 3 of their final 4 games are on the road. It's going to be hard to trust the Lions. It's going to be hard to trust the Lions in road matchups, especially when it's cold. They're out of their dome. I worry about the Lions offense just based on their track record in road games this year. So I love J-Mo. I don't want to play him yet until the Lions prove they can overcome their road woes. I guess I would play Dillon at home. It's a great matchup against the Rams, who are not going to have Aaron Donald. They're not going to have most of their key pieces that they started the season with anyway, but it's a favorable spot for the Packers. I don't think they're officially dead in the water for the playoffs yet. I believe. I think they are still mathematically alive, which means this is a must-win game at home. I'm pulling up the playoff picture now in the hunt. Yeah, the Packers are technically still alive. They're technically still alive. So they have to beat the Rams at home. I'll take Dillon. I just don't trust the Lions. I just don't trust the Lions on the road. That's it. As far as a kicker question, Gano, Pinheiro, or Joey Sly. Is Sly on the... Is he Washington's kicker now? I think he is. Yeah. Pretty good matchup against the Giants, actually. Sly is kicking well, and I think Pinheiro is recently as well. Pinheiro's doing pretty good. It's either Pinheiro or Sly for me, Tim, and they're both pretty even. They're both at home. They're both in pretty good matchups by the numbers. Both offenses are capable at moving the ball, but are plenty capable at stalling out as well, which opens up field goal opportunities. I guess the offense that I trust a little bit more right now is Washington. They have a more favorable, at least as far as they want to run the ball, Washington, and the Giants are getting gashed on the ground recently. Yeah, I guess you could roll the dice on Sly. Pinheiro is probably also fine. Between those two, you probably can't go wrong. I would take your pick. I would check the weather. Let's check. We can check the weather in Washington. Generally speaking, winds and all that type of stuff die down at night. Although Buffalo had something to say about that last night with the late snow, which was awesome to end the game, by the way.
I was pretty cool with how that game ended.
Yeah, for you as a Bills fan, but then also just as the snow swirling around at the end was pretty awesome. Also, I apologize. I feel like my camera's briefly going in and out, and I'm not really sure why. Everything looks fine on my end. Apologies for the technical difficulties. Right now. Okay. Anyway, generally speaking, conditions in general, wind, all that stuff, if there is any, die down at night. It's more likely that it's going to be windy during the day more often than not. So if you want to bank on that, maybe Sly is the preferred choice here. What's happening, Xavier? Got that bye week? That's nice. You're just kicking your feet up today and just watching the action happen. It's a nice feeling. It's a good feeling. I saw MJD on the broadcast, but I didn't make the comparison that he looks like John. I didn't, or that they could be related. Apparently, you and MJD
Maybe
are
I should
potentially.
go get my MJD jersey.
I know. Oh, I forgot you have one.
Yeah.
I know you did. Yeah, you have one. Yeah, they might be cousins. There you go. Oh, and Eli, you're already in the playoffs. All right, nice. So you're good. I would just play Swift then. If it's a comfortable situation, if you're comfortably in, just play Swift because it's possible that Quinn and Williams. Oh wow, Argentina had a penalty and Messi scores. This is huge. Wow. I might be a few minutes behind everybody else's feed, but just happened to see that. Argentina takes a 1-0 lead in the World Cup final. If you're already in the playoffs, Elout, then I would probably just play Swift because Quinton Williams, even if he goes, is not going to be 100%. And I'll just play Christian Watson for the upside. If you want the points, take the dude who has the best chance of making the biggest play. You know? LBR, what's up, LBR? My thoughts on Darren Waller, I would not play him today. And between Everett and Okonkwo, I think I would slightly lean Okonkwo just as out of necessity. I like Gerald Everett, but there's just more mouths to feed.
No Treylon.
Treylon Burks is out again with a concussion. They're down to Robert Woods and Nick Westbrook-Akine. Austin Hooper, maybe Derrick Henry catches a couple extra passes. Like it's, and also it's a very favorable matchup for Derrick Henry on the ground, so they may run the ball. They may run the ball 30 times with Henry if they're able to. But I would probably go with Okonkwo. Again, yeah, his opportunity is just greater. Everett, I like Everett, and it's a good matchup. It's a good matchup for Everett. Tennessee gives up plenty of production to tight ends, but he's contending with Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler and Mike Williams and Josh Palmer for targets. Chig Okonkwo is competing with Robert Woods and Nick Westbrook-Akine and Austin Hooper. I would probably go Okonkwo for the upside. I don't trust Darren Waller. Is he even going to be activated today?
I don't have a definitive word on that.
I'm looking. Oh, he was activated off of IR. He came off IR yesterday afternoon or yesterday evening. Yeah, I mean, it is a difficult spot to trust Darren Waller in. We have not seen him play since week 5. I'm pretty sure that was the game where he started, but he exited early, never returned, and we haven't seen him for 10 weeks. I mean, if you want to play Darren Waller because of the reputation, and we all obviously had him as a top 5 tight end coming into the season relative to expectations. We think Darren Waller is an upper echelon option, and he was good for the first couple weeks of the season before, I don't know if it was a combination of injuries or just, the randomness of the tight end position. He struggled. He didn't do too much in the few games he played prior to missing all of this time. So you always have to have that in the back of your mind. You're worried about like potential re-aggravation of an injury. Again, they wouldn't activate him if he was fully healthy, and if he wasn't fully healthy and fully ready to go. What's Hunter Renfro's status? That would be the other thing. Renfro is also activated. They're both active. I mean, maybe that helps each other, but it also keeps the target distribution a little random.
I mean, I gotta admit, I'm going to almost any other tight end
over Waller.
You would have to be like really down bad. You can find somebody else.
I mean, I understand wanting to play him. He's your upper echelon option. It's just like I need to see it for a week first.
He wasn't great to begin the year either. So, I mean,
I think he was okay like the first couple weeks of the season.
Week 1.
It wasn't just literally week 1. Week 1, 4 for 79. Week 2, 6 for 50 and a touchdown. That was against Arizona. Everybody does well against Arizona. And then, 2 dud games. And then I'm pretty sure week 5 was the game that he started, but then he exited very early and wasn't able to finish. And now here we are 10 weeks later. I think I would just roll the dice on the Okonkwo LBR. It's a very difficult spot to trust Darren Waller in. It really is. If you want to go with him, that is your call, and obviously this is your team and your lineup. I personally don't think I would play Waller today. I think I need to see it for a week first. Brady on ice. Do you start Stevenson or Kamara? I would probably go Kamara here because Stevenson is on the injury report and Kamara has had a week off from the bye week. Plus, it's the Falcons. Kamara has not been good this year. I am well aware of that. Like, relative to his expectations, Kamara has not been good. But it's a great matchup. The Falcons are can be had on the ground. Running backs are getting to them this year. They've had the bye week. The Saints had, so Kamara had a week off, and Stevenson's on the injury report. He has a good chance to play, and it's a great matchup against the Raiders. It's an awesome matchup against the Raiders. But I'll take the healthy player. I'll take the healthy player and just the guy that we had higher expectations for going into the season, and injury hasn't changed that, at least for Kamara. Performance hasn't been there week to week. There's no doubt about that. But give me the guy who I drafted to be an RB1. I mean, Stevenson has been an RB1, but on the injury report, I'll take the healthy guy coming off a bye week. Xavier, is this just a formality? I know you're on bye this week. Is this a different league? I mean, I have to play Saquon. I know Pacheco's against Houston, so he should deliver. He should deliver. If this is just posturing, then I guess Pacheco. I can't sit Saquon Barkley, though, like, in any scenario. Yeah. Oh, we got a super chat from Lucius. Thank you, Lucius. Much appreciated. Very kind. The Green Bay defense or the Pats defense? So the Patriots have the Raiders, and the Raiders now have multiple guys back in Waller and Renfro, although not that we're expecting the world from either one. But the Packers are at home against a decimated Rams offense. I think that is what creates the separation here. The Packers aren't great. They're not very good. Their run defense is very weak, or let's put it this way, it's very overrated compared to what we thought, how good we thought it would be coming into the season. And Cam Akers appears to have sprung back to life a little bit in recent weeks. But I mean, what is it going to be? Baker Mayfield on the road on Monday night in cold Green Bay. The Packers are still whatever. They're mathematically alive for the playoffs. So however you want to look at that, they're playing for something. The Rams season is done. They're just playing out the string. On the road in Lambeau, I wouldn't want to be a team with nothing to play for, having to play late in the season at night in Lambeau. That just sounds terrible. I'll take the Packers. The Patriots are playing for something too, but at least the Raiders have all of them. The Raiders they have all their guys back healthy. It's a tougher matchup for New England. New England's the better unit, but they're on the road, and the Raiders have a better offense than the Rams. I'll take the Packers, Lucius. I'll take the Packers against Baker Mayfield playing on the road. But thank you for the super. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Let's see. What's going on, John? Good to see you. Need a flex this week between Foreman, Zay, and Chris Moore. You're starting the Chiefs defense. Well, if you don't want to play a guy who's playing the Chiefs, then you have a perfectly fine, I think you have a perfectly fine floor play in Donta Foreman there. Zay Jones is enticing. I mean, at home, Trevor Lawrence is playing great recently. But it's not a great matchup by the numbers, right? It's an okay matchup. It's not a great matchup. I think I would go Foreman here. I mean, he's a perfectly safe floor play. The Panthers are running the ball a ton recently. They're at home. Foreman has been really good at home since the McCaffrey trade. In home games, Foreman has cleared 100 rushing yards in each game. I would play Foreman. John. He in every home game since the Christian McCaffrey trade, Foreman has cleared 100 rushing yards. That's where I would go. Chris Moore has got a great opportunity today, and he should do just fine. But if you're worried about the fact that you have the Chiefs defense and you don't want to be playing that game where it's, you know, you can't potentially maximize your point totals, then just play Foreman. Pittsburgh's run defense is gettable. It's better with TJ Watt back, but it can still be had. You can still get them. And again, Foreman has been very good at home since the Christian McCaffrey trade. I would play Foreman. Modern Dog, Najee, Stevenson, or Brian Robinson, pick 2. I want to play Ramondre. So you're definitely playing Najee. And I know it's not a great matchup, but he's been that, John will attest to this. I've been calling him what he is all year. He's a boring RB2. He's wildly boring. There's nothing exciting about Najee. His chances for a ceiling
recently.
I guess he's been a little better, but
4 or 5 games, he's been a low-end RB1. He hasn't been a boring RB2.
Okay, so there you go. I would still say his chances for a ceiling game are not great any given week, especially with Trubisky back in there. But you have to play Najee. And then if Stevenson is active, play Stevenson. Brian Robinson doesn't play until the night game. So you actually have the luxury of waiting to see if Stevenson's going to give it a go. If Stevenson is active, I'm playing Stevenson over Brian Robinson. But if he's out, then you can just play Brian Robinson. So Najee in the RB1 spot, put Stevenson in the RB2 spot. If he's active, great. If he's not, you can swerve to Robinson on Sunday night. Objective, appreciate it. Yeah, I won't. The likes definitely help. They definitely help the algorithm. If you guys like what you see, or if you guys enjoy coming and hanging out in this stream, it definitely helps. Appreciate it. Tim, do I trust Badgley to get to? I mean, kickers are just so random. I mean, yes, they're going to have opportunities. They're going to have opportunities to score, but I mean, McPherson's attached to Joe Burrow, who's playing lights out right now. Like, Joe Burrow is spectacular. If that's the head-to-head matchup, I mean, you're talking about two pretty good kicker, or is Badgley is he still with or maybe he's not with the Chargers? Is he with the Lions actually? Did I misspeak? He is. He's with Detroit. No, no, Tim, I actually don't trust Badgley. On the road for the Lions against a good defense in the Jets, where the Lions have played poor. No, I don't trust that. I would take McPherson 10 times out of 10.
You don't think they're going to be?
And I know McPherson hasn't been the best.
Goals?
Oh, Argentina scored again.
You don't think they're going to be settling for a whole bunch of field goals and just
who, the Lions?
3, 6, 9, 12. I can do that.
They might. I guess I worry about the Lions on the road. I do. I worry about the Lions on the road. And I don't worry about the Bengals as much. I don't worry about the Bengals offense as much as I worry about if they were at home, this is a different conversation. But just go look at it. The proof is in the pudding. It's in the numbers. The Lions are bad on the road. So no, I have no faith in that. I would take McPherson 10 times out of 10.
All right. No,
I would.
I can see that. No, I mean it is McPherson we're talking about, so there's a clear difference.
And look, he was definitely better last year than he has been this year. McPherson has not been as good, but he's been better recently because the Bengals offense seems to have shifted into another gear, and that certainly helps when you have Jamar Chase back. I would take McPherson, no question. If it was a home game, then I'd be like, yeah, I can trust Badgley to do better. But because the Lions are on the road, I don't. Yeah. You're the John. You're the 3 seed. Did the playoffs start today for you? I mean, you have Herbert, Eckler stacked. That's strong. Aaron Jones, RB1, Godwin, wide receiver 1. Williams has wide receiver 1 upside. He's got wide receiver 3 downside, but I mean, you roll the dice on his ceiling. Kelsey's Kelsey. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're good. You're in a good spot. It's a good team. It's a good team. Yeah, Xavier, appreciate it. John's still on the mend. COVID's a bitch, as most of us know. At this point, I feel like everybody I know has been sick with it at one point or another, including myself. There were 4 days where I was like, I feel like death. So, yeah, it sucks. Hope you feel better. Drink, get some of that soup that Kilo sent us a super for back on Friday. Hunter, what's going on, man? ETN or Mike Williams in full PPR?
Yeah,
Mike,
thank you. Appreciate it, bro.
Mike Will over ETN, I guess. ETN's usage this year makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. He doesn't have a single game with more than 5 targets. He doesn't have a single game with more than 3 catches. What did you draft him for? I think I would go Mike Will.
Like they have a true alpha who's really taking targets away from him.
Christian Kirk is a good player. I like Christian Kirk. He's a nice player, but but even after him, what are we doing? Plus, Mike Williams is playing Tennessee. They are giving up the most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. It's got to be Mike Will, Hunter. It's got to be Mike Will. I don't understand the usage for ETN this year. It makes no sense. How does he not have more than 3 catches in any one game? That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Brian, what's going on, Brian? Najee, Swift, and Ramondre. You can only start one. Najee. It's got to be Najee. I know it's on the road in a not great matchup, but Swift has a worse matchup in an offense that struggles on the road. And Ramondre is, I love Ramondre, but he's on the injury report. If Najee and Ramondre were both playing in the same window, then you would be able to, then I might actually advocate for Ramondre because of the matchup. The Raiders are terrible against anybody with a pulse. But he's on the injury report. And while the report is he has a good chance, that's the last thing I saw, he has a quote-unquote good chance to play. That's not a 100%. Give me the guy who at least I know is going to play, and that's Najee. And as far as Swift, I would take Najee over Swift because I think the matchup for Swift is pretty bad. And the circumstances aren't as good. The Lions are not as good on the road. And until that narrative changes, I have to downgrade the Lions. Although Quinnen Williams being out for the Jets, if that actually turns out, would be a boost for Swift. That being said, I think I would just go Najee. Deontay Dillon or Latavius Murray at the flex in full PPR. Deontay. I don't really want to play Deontay, but I don't trust Dillon. I know he's been better the past couple of weeks, and they're at home. Latavius Murray is, I guess it's not. Brett Ripien is not at this point is not a significant downgrade from Russell Wilson. He might be fine, but also he did nothing last week and suddenly feels a little tough to trust. At least I know Deontay will be out there every snap. Tim, Deontay is your boring floor play.
He's going to be out there every snap, and he did get 5 targets last week and 4 targets the week before, so he has a floor.
Deontay did?
Murray.
Oh, Murray? Okay.
He could be their entire game plan.
Yeah. Against Arizona. I just don't know if, how many did Marlon Mack out-snap Latavius Murray last week? I'm going to look that up right now. My trusty snap count summary. Lat got 53% of the snaps last week. Marlon Mack got 32% of the snaps. So Latavius still saw more snaps by a decent margin. I I guess Latavius is your floor play, Tim, and Dylan is your all or nothing play. Let's put it that way. Like if you need a swing, if you're down bad, then I might just play Dylan. But if you feel like you're in a decent spot, then maybe go Latavius in the flex. I guess I'm okay with that. I do think Deontay is a little bit better with Trubisky in there, but obviously it's like there's no the ceiling upside is 0 or very low. Triple X Lex, what's going on, Lex? Komet or Dulcich this week? It's Dulcich. It's Dulcich against Arizona. It's any tight end that's playing Arizona, and like Cortland Sutton is out, Kendall Hinton is out.
I mean, Komet is enticing as the #1 target for Justin.
Yeah, but it's just the Eagles are a tougher matchup. Like the Dulcich gets Arizona, who gives up tight end production every single week. Like Komet is enticing. The matchup is what tips the scales here. I want to play any tight end that's playing Arizona,
even if it's Brett Rippon.
Yeah,
that QB. Okay.
Yeah, because like I said, I don't know that he's much of a downgrade from Russell Wilson at this point. Cortland Sutton is out. Kendall Hinton is out. So it's not like Dulcich is too far away from from the type of role that Komet might see today. Like, yes, Jerry Jeudy's still out there, but that might actually help Dulcich. Whereas the Eagles don't really have to worry about the outside receivers for the Bears today. They could key on Komet if they really wanted to. I would go Dulcich. Just it's Arizona, and they're at home. Well, Komet's at home.
I think Dulcich is the safe play, but if you really want to shoot for the high upside play, I think Komet does come with the two touchdown upside, like he's shown a couple of times this season.
Yeah, he might. The Bears might have a tough time getting anything going against Philly. There is a big talent discrepancy there.
Oh, I expect that, but no Claypool, no Mooney, obviously.
Right, it's Justin Fields and a prayer for Chicago today. Like, yeah, I would go Dulcich against Arizona. Great matchup. And as far as I would hold, if your options are Madison or Matt Breida, if you don't have Dalvin Cook or Saquon Barkley, then just keep both. Just keep both. I love the idea, never afraid to stash running backs. But because if these are your options, if these are your guys for the rest of the season, then just keep both of them. And you can play the matchups each week. I see the questions piling up. We will get to all of them. Appreciate everybody's patience and appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out ahead of the fantasy playoffs. John, do you drop Deontay for Josh Kelly and you have Eckler? Man, we are at that point in life, aren't we? If you don't need, I can't believe I'm saying this. If you don't need Deontay Johnson, if he's like your wide receiver 5 at this point, the only other thing is like he's the type of guy who I don't want to release to the rest of the league, because obviously Deontay gets picked up at the first opportunity. So you know for a fact that if you cut him, you will lose him. If you are comfortable with your group of receivers, like you've got, I don't know, at least one top 5 option and a couple of other really strong options, or just some overall like awesome collection of talent, then sure. I don't hate that strategy, but Deontay will get picked up. Just know that you will lose him, which I guess if you're willing to drop him, then you maybe have already come to terms with that. If you don't think he's going to help you for the rest of the season, then man, sure. Insure Eckler. That's fine. Can't believe we're here, but yeah. Yeah, I think that's fine. The Cowboys and the Jags, it should be a high-scoring game. I mean, as far as starting Pollard or Zeke, both. But I guess Pollard would be the preference on the road in full PPR. I would probably lean Pollard. But yeah, there's going to be points scored today. If it's just for points, Xavier, then sure. Just fire. If you want to play Pacheco against Houston, then sure. Go for that. But next week, I'm not sure who the Giants play week 16. You already know Saquon's going to be in your lineup when it counts. Mr. Heinen, what's going on, Mr. Heinen? You're a big-time underdog. Wilson or Ritter? Damn. Ritter? If you're a huge underdog, do you just go with the unknown and Ritter?
Ritter, because he has dual threat upside.
Yeah, he could run.
He's a rushing quarterback, and Mariota is mediocre, and he was still startable, streamable at times this year. Zach Wilson has never been.
Mariota was bad in real life, but he was fine for fantasy. The only thing is he is a rookie, and it's his first start against a division rival. The 6-point passing touchdowns do make Zach Wilson a little more enticing, and it is a great matchup against Detroit's secondary. It's just like, what did Zach Wilson do this year? Like when he had in the stretch where he was still the guy for the Jets. Like, what did he do this year? He didn't crack in standard scoring. He didn't have a single game over 20 fantasy points. He threw more than one touchdown once. He threw no touchdowns 3 times. Like,
go
what
with
the
Ritter.
hell, man?
I know it's a rookie starting in his first game, but on top of that, on the other side of the coin, the defense doesn't know what to expect from him. They don't know. They can't game plan from him because they don't know. They've never seen him on the field in the NFL. So I would go Ritter. And honestly, it's more fun for you today. Playing Ritter over Zach
it is
Wilson.
more. If you're a big underdog, right, just play the random unknown guy and hope for the best. Yeah. I mean, I know the only reason Zach Wilson is back in there, it's not because Mike White has been, like, awful. He's hurt. I would play Ritter, I guess, and just go all upside, Mr. Heinen. Zach Wilson hasn't given us any reason to believe this year. None. 1 game with more than 1 passing touchdown this year, and 3 games with 0. That's gross. Devin, Zay Jones or Mike Evans? You got to go Mike Evans, man. I know he's been kind of meh, but it's Mike Evans. In no world can I start Zay Jones over Mike Evans as long as Mike Evans is healthy. As far as Waller, Okonkwo, or Kmet. So I already who was it earlier? LBR. It was LBR. I already advocated for Okonkwo over Waller. I think John might say Kmet.
I mean, you have a point. Philadelphia's defense is legit. I think Okonkwo's safe, and if you were really down bad, then you can play Kmet and hope for another 2-touchdown game. But
sure,
I would play Okonkwo. He's looked good over the past few weeks.
Okonkwo has looked good. Okonkwo has looked really good, and his opportunity is huge today. Traylon Burks is out. His competition for targets is Robert Woods, Nick Westbrook-Akine, and Austin Hooper. I would go Okonkwo. I would. Marco Tucci, what's up, Marco? Waller or Ingram in full PPR. Was last week Evan Ingram's like wild week? I think it was. Why does it feel so long ago? The problem is Dallas is very, very good against opposing tight ends. Dallas is actually the worst
Jacksonville's
matchup.
Gonna have to put up points.
They are going to have to throw.
Offense.
They are going to have to
Evan
throw.
Ingram.
Yeah, like this might be. I'm not really definitive on this. This might be where I say, okay, roll the dice on Waller. Just because, yeah, Jacksonville is going to have to throw. That is correct. And I expect points to be scored today on both sides.
And they don't throw to ETN. So,
and for whatever reason, they don't throw to ETN. So there is that. But by the numbers, Dallas is actually the worst matchup in the league for opposing tight ends. So the matchup is pretty bad. But the situation should be fine. I'll say Ingram is your safe play, Marco. And if you're down bad and you need, you just need to swing for the fences, then I guess I might just fire up Waller. But if you think I guess Evan Ingram is maybe the safer option. But I'm not expecting, he had like a 40-point game last week. I'm hoping for 10, I'm not hoping for even 20. Not that you can't ask for 20 from anybody any given week. You just hope for it. But like with Ingram, you're hoping for 10 points today. I guess Ingram. And the only reason is just we haven't seen Waller for 10 weeks. It's hard to trust him. Modern Dog, you are welcome. And yep, Argentina. They're at the half. We're at the half, and Argentina has got that 2-0 lead. They might be celebrating tonight in Argentina. Interesting factoids. What's going on? Rachaad White or T. Higgins in PPR? You have to play Higgins. You have to. I love Rachaad White, but we gotta play T. Higgins. We got screwed last week because the Bengals screwed around, called him healthy, removed him from the injury report, and then didn't play him. I've been saying it all week, and I'll say it again. I think the Bengals should have been fined for that. That was failure to disclose information, like failure to disclose injury information. It's that was Bush League by Zach Taylor and the Bengals. But we can't operate like it's going to happen again. If T. Higgins is active, if he's off the injury report, I think we have to play T. Higgins. John, you put Foreman in over Aaron Jones? I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. I would put Foreman in over Zay Jones. Aaron Jones is a must start every week. I would not do that, John. I would not do that. I would not take Aaron Jones out. Lex, appreciate it. Yeah, if you the likes are definitely appreciated. Thanks, guys. Yeah, John, make sure you have your chicken noodle soup, and if you got them, yeah, all the good stuff to help you recover. Appreciate it, John. Brian, glad we could help. KOTJ, what's going on? Good to see you. Down by Jesus. The Vikings hurt you bad yesterday. Between Driscoll or Conklin, we are down bad. I guess I kind of like Ty Conklin, but with Zach Wilson in there, I like him way less. So I guess just by the nature of the beast, I'll go Driscoll. They messed around and used him in weird ways last week, right? He kind of in like a Taysom Hill type of role. I guess I'll just go Driscoll. At least we know Houston's going to have to throw all day, right? Against Kansas City. I guess I'll just go Driscoll. Hopefully we can chip away at that lead a little bit, piece by piece, right? One play at a time. What's going on, Crumply Heads? Sat Allen and Knox for Herbert and Everett. No. No, I probably still would have said Everett over Knox. Knox exploded last night. He had a great game. Allen is tough. That's tough. I mean, having both of those guys in one QB, I would never want that headache. I would never want that headache. Yeah, even if one of them happens to fall in the draft and it's a great value, but I already have one, I have to pass. I have to keep passing on that guy. You know. It is what it is. The Joker, what's going on, Joker? Full PPR between Ramondre Montgomery, Rashad White, Donta Foreman, and Jamal Williams. I'm going. It's hard to sit Montgomery, but against the Eagles, he's a little harder to trust. John, you let me know what you think of this, but I think I would, like I said, Donta Foreman has cleared 100 yards rushing in every home game since the Christian McCaffrey trade, and he's at home today. I think I would go Foreman. I would tentatively plug Ramondre in. If Ramondre's active, I'm going Ramondre. If he's ruled out, you can pivot to Rashad White. I don't love sitting David Montgomery, but in this matchup against the Eagles, it could be rough sledding for Montgomery. I think that's what I would do. The Eagles have been they've been a little better against the run recently. Remember, they shut Derrick Henry down when everybody expected Derrick Henry to absolutely go nuts against them, and rightfully so. The Eagles have been bad against the run for a couple weeks in a row prior to that game against the Titans. But they picked it up against Derrick Henry. The Giants really didn't get anything going last week against them. I would go Foreman, Joker, and then I would go Ramondre. And if Ramondre is ruled out, you can swerve to Rashad White. That's what I would do. Crumply, I always forget about that. It goes to super. You have mentioned that your league goes to Superflex next year, so you're just biding your time. You're just waiting. That's my bad. Should you swap Gabe for Deontay as far as dropping for Josh Kelly? I mean, I guess I would keep Gabe over Deontay. Gabe has been frustrating. He has not matched expectations this year. It has not happened, but at least he's attached to Josh Allen. So I guess if I had to hold on to a wide receiver stash, it would be Gabe over Deontay. Aiden, what's going on, Aiden? Do you start Foreman or Latavius Murray? I would go Foreman. Again, in every home game since the McCaffrey trade, Foreman has gone over 100 yards rushing. And by the numbers, this is his best matchup of those home matchups. I would go Foreman. Latavius cratered out last week, even though he still got most of the snaps. Give me Foreman. Give me Foreman. And I trust the Panthers offense a little. We're talking about mediocre to below average teams at this point, but in a vacuum, I trust the Panthers offense more than I trust the Broncos offense. I'll take Foreman. And the Panthers are running the ball well. They're running the ball a lot. I'll take Foreman. As far as Wilson, Tannehill, or Heineke, who's Tannehill have today? The Chargers? It's not a great matchup, actually, by the numbers. But I guess Derwin, or it's an okay matchup. Tannehill, I'm not playing Zach Wilson. I'm not. I'm not playing Zach Wilson. Heineke in this same matchup against the Giants 2 weeks ago had 275 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. That was on the road. Now they're at home. I'll give the slight nod to Heineke. I don't feel great about it, Aiden, but I'll give the slight nod to Heineke. At least he has his complement of weapons.
Tannehill hasn't scored more than like 19 points all season.
All season. I don't know that Heineke has either, but at least Heineke has. Oh, he has?
He has.
At least he has Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel. Tannehill's down Treylon Burks. And they may run the ball with as much as they possibly can. The Chargers are a great matchup for opposing running backs. So they may run the ball with Derrick Henry a ton today. I think I would go Heineke. He had a good game against the Giants last week, and now they're at home against the Giants again. And at least he has his top weapons. Yeah, I'll go Heineke, and I'm playing Foreman over Murray. Foreman's been great at home since the trade. What's going on, Richie Rich? Start 3 in full PPR. Swift, Najee, Lenny, B-Rob. Swift, Najee, B-Rob? Fournette's been fine. Fournette's been fine. I feel like a lot of people feel like he hasn't been great. And he wasn't great against San Francisco last week, but very few running backs are good against San Francisco. At home against the Bengals, he's a little more enticing. All right, here's what I'm doing, Richie. Let's keep an eye on inactives for the...
I just want to add Leonard Fournette in the past 2 games, despite Rachaad White going off 7 targets in each of the last 2 games.
14 targets past 2 games. So, I mean, he's still very much... That's a good stat. Appreciate it. I mean, he's still very much involved. Maybe bench Swift. In that case, I would bench Swift. Against the Jets, who are a tough matchup for opposing running backs. And again, the Lions are not good on the road. They're not good on the road. Yeah, I guess I would go, those last 3. The last 3 names. Najee, Lenny, B-Rob. Najee's Najee. Robinson's in a great matchup. The Giants are bad against the run. They are bad against the run. Or they didn't start out that way, but they have been recently. Najee, Lenny, B-Rob. And I'll take the floor that Lenny is usually pretty reliable with. Solo Knight. What's going on, Solo? You're trying to figure out which Patriots receiver to start. I mean, if Myers is active, you have to play Myers. He's the PPR guy. Did he clear concussion protocol? If he's expected to play, then he had to have cleared concussion protocol. He's still questionable. Trending toward return on Sunday.
Report I see is he's expected to play.
If Jacoby Myers plays, it has to be Myers. If he's out, then I guess Nelson Aguilar, because Devontae Parker is already ruled out with a concussion. It would be Jacoby Myers if he's active, and then Aguilar if Myers is out. It's a revenge game for Nelson Aguilar. Played for the Raiders last year. Just throwing that out there. No, Tim, not on the road. I would trust Pollard a little bit more. Zeke at home is pretty much a layup for a touchdown. Pollard's been doing it everywhere. Yeah. And Xavier, I do this type of shit all the time. I'm like, did anybody consult me on Saquon suiting up? Because I have a bye week next week, and I really don't need him to get hurt. They should coach with us in mind. Alas. Yeah, Wilson's playing for his job. I don't know that he's got the talent to do it, though. Like, yes, he's going to play motivated today, or you would expect him to. You expect him to play motivated. He needs to prove that he can actually do this. I will see if he can do this while he sits on the waiver wire. That's it. As far as Brady or Dak, I guess Dak here.
I'd go Dak.
Dallas is going to have to throw. They're going to have to throw, and they're going to have to score. I mean, Jacksonville's playing great right now on offense. Trevor Lawrence is playing great. I'd probably go Dak. Brady's been very blah this year, despite all those pass attempts. He's been very average. I think I would go Dak. What's going on, Joe? Wide receiver and a flex between Terry, Judy, and is that B-Rob? And it's standard. I guess McLaurin and Brian Robinson. I like Judy a lot, and with no Cortland Sutton, he should be a target monster, but he's playing with the backup quarterback. He's playing with Brett Rippey. Well, so is Brian Robinson. They're all playing with backup quarterbacks. Terry is too. Terry's been on a tear. Judy had a 3-touchdown game last week. We're obviously not, you can never, those results never get duplicated or replicated 1 week later. Brian Robinson is a floor. I think McLaurin has to be in. I'll say Brian Robinson is your floor play. Judy is your ceiling play. But McLaurin's in my wide receiver spot. And then depends on your situation, Joe, and what you think you need. What's going on, Callie? Good to see you. Good morning. You got to pick one of these running backs between one of the Broncos running backs, Dillon or Strong. You had Jefferson go. That's good. They had Diggs go. That's not good. If Ramondre goes, I would probably just play Dillon. Although Latavius should probably still be the starter for Denver. It's between Murray and Dillon for me. If Ramondre is out, then yes, fire up Pierre Strong for sure. He's a little more interesting because Damian Harris is out, but I wouldn't be banking on trying to figure out which change of pace running back the Patriots decide to use, because it's a crapshoot any given week. It's between Latavius and Dillon for me. And I guess because we still expect him to be the starter, I originally said Dillon, but I guess because we expect him to still be the starter, I guess I would pivot to Latavius as my RB2. We expect him to start. John said he got like 4 or 5 targets last week. So despite the dud game, Cortland Sutton is out. Kendall Hinton is out. Murray might get, they might go back to the well with him this week at home against Arizona, whose season is officially in the toilet with Kyler now out for the season. Yeah, I guess I would go Latavius Murray. It's a boring play, but he should be fine at home, I suppose. Mega Brick, what's going on, Mega Brick? Good morning. We got a playoff matchup today, yes, sir. Start Danny Jones or stick with Trevor Lawrence? I'm sticking with Lawrence. I mean, the guy's on a tear, right? And if your opponent is starting the Dallas defense, take that shot. Take that shot that you can kind of like double whammy him. Lawrence is expected to play, right? He was questionable with a toe injury, back-to-back limited sessions. He's fine. It's not a great matchup by the numbers, admittedly, but Lawrence has been pretty good at home. just looking at what Daniel Jones has done recently. It's a better matchup for Daniel Jones. Man, it is a better matchup for Daniel Jones. He was kind of average against Washington a couple weeks ago. 200 passing yards, 1 touchdown. He ran 12 times for 71 yards. That's where he made his money. It's a better matchup for Daniel Jones, but I feel a little better about Trevor Lawrence. Lawrence has the upside. Lawrence could give you the ceiling play. If you have tough matchups, and I guess Lawrence is the ceiling play. Lawrence is the ceiling play. If you think you can get away with like a boring safe play where there's not really much of a ceiling, but you know his floor should be fine, then I guess Daniel Jones, but like the ceiling play is Lawrence. The upside play is Lawrence, especially going against the Dallas defense. Any touchdown he throws, is obviously, it's a larger point swing. Now, of course, if he throws an interception, it's a greater point swing in his favor. But regardless, Lawrence is the all upside play, Mega Brick. If you think you need the upside, then play Lawrence. If you think you can play it safe, I guess I'm fine with Danny Jones. But he doesn't have the ceiling that Lawrence does, even in a tougher matchup. And I'm just going to finish off I see Joe's question. I'm just going to finish off Mega Brick's question about these, got to start 3 in full PPR. Moore, Foreman, Chark, Judy, Lazard, Kirk. I would go. Okay. I guess this is what I'm doing, Mega Brick. You have Christian Kirk. Do the Lawrence Kirk stack. Kirk's been past few weeks. Kirk's been good. Kirk's been good all year, right? But like just recently, 5 for 45 is meh, but he still had 7 targets, 6 for 104, 4 for 46 isn't great. And then just prior to the bye week, 9 for 105 and 2 scores. In full PPR. I guess, in full PPR, at home, I want to play DJ Moore. I want to play Foreman as well. And then, I guess I would play DJ Moore at home. He's also on the injury report. He had a bad week last week, but he's expected to play today. And it's a spectacular matchup. I think, this is what I would probably do, Mega Brick. You obviously this is your lineup and your team. You ultimately you call the final shots. I would probably do DJ Moore, Donta Foreman, and stack Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk. I would like to play Jerry Jeudy. But I guess he's a little tougher to trust with Brett Ripien in there. DJ Moore is good with Sam Darnold, and it's a great matchup at home. Again, Foreman has been very good at home since the Christian McCaffrey trade. He's cleared 100 yards in every home game. And then it would be between Jeudy and Kirk for me, and I guess the difference is I have Trevor Lawrence, so I would stack him with Christian Kirk. If those two link up for a touchdown against the Dallas defense, that's a huge point swing in your favor. Because not only are you getting the stack, you're taking points away from the Cowboys defense. I would probably roll the dice on that. I don't love sitting Jerry Jeudy, but that's the squeeze of having to make difficult lineup decisions, That's probably what I would do. Hopefully that helps. And then Joe, between Zay Jones, George Pickens, or J-Mo, this is where I'll say go Zay Jones. He's got you know his healthy. He's got Trevor Lawrence. He's not healthy, but he's expected to play at home. Pickens has not been as good with Trubisky this year. He's been better when Kenny Pickett is in there. Pickens had a decent day last week. And I guess that was with Trubisky playing most of the game. He had 3 catches for 78 yards. The problem is the volume. Like he fired, but he needed to fire on 3 targets. He needed to do it on elite efficiency, and one of those was a big catch. It's a little harder to trust Pickens when Trubisky's in there. I think I would lean Zay Jones. And then J-Mo, he caught that one ball. It was a 40-yard touchdown. It was awesome to see, but it was busted coverage, and he didn't do anything else the rest of the game. Now he's in a much tougher matchup on the road. I'll play Zay Jones of those 3. Stack Attack. What's up, Stack Attack? It is a tough matchup against Dallas, but Lawrence is an all-upside play. If you decide to play Danny Jones, then maybe go Judy over Christian Kirk, Mega Brick. But I think I would play those Panthers at home. Nothing scary about that matchup against Pittsburgh. Okay, got it, John. Sorry, yeah. Glad we cleared that up. Yeah, we got to start Aaron Jones every single week. Appreciate it, Mega Brick. Hopefully this helps. Hopefully the dialogue helps. And Aiden, you're welcome. You already had Heineke in there, so glad we could help, I guess, affirm what you already were planning to do. Callie, okay, you got an interesting wrinkle in your league. You can't make pickups after. Man, that's tough. I don't know that I would necessarily like that. I mean, I understand wanting to have different wrinkles in your league and do different things, but I mean, what if you suffer a couple of injuries, like multiple injuries? If you haven't, okay. You need depth elsewhere. You have to drop one of these dudes. I guess I would drop Pickens as long as DJ Moore has Sam Darnold as his quarterback. I know he didn't do anything last week, but he was on the injury report and it was a tough matchup on the road. DJ Moore has great matchups to end the season, and 2 of them are at home. I would hold DJ Moore. Yeah, I don't want to drop Pickens, but if you have to make a choice, I guess as long as Trubisky's in there, and I guess Pickett could be back in the next couple of weeks. I guess I'd rather have DJ Moore. It's close, though. Kelsey's always due for a tutty, Tim. He's always due for a tutty. What's going on, Corey? Waller or Jawan Johnson? What is the status of all of those Saints tight ends? What is the status of all of those Saints tight ends? I'm looking that up right now. Somehow I put my phone in airplane mode. Taysom Hill has no injury designation. Does Troutman? Troutman still does. He's questionable for Sunday. And then Jawan himself is on the injury report as well. I have a hard time trusting Waller, Corey, in his first game back, but let's keep an eye on these inactives, which are going to start rolling in the next 10 minutes. If all of those Saints tight ends are healthy, then I might go Waller. But if Troutman's ruled out, then I would probably go Jawan Johnson. I'm not crazy about the idea of playing Waller, but it could be difficult to trust Jawan if all of the Saints tight ends are healthy. If Johnson is in and Troutman is out, then I'll play Jawan Johnson. But if they're all active, I might just play Waller and hope for the best. As far as Boyd, Slayton, or Curtis Samuel, I think I go Slayton. Slayton's been really good. Slayton's been really good recently. He didn't have a great game against Philly last week, but it's a tough matchup. Prior to last week, 6 for 90, 3 for 63 on 6 targets, 5 for 86, 3 for 95 and a touchdown. Slayton's on a run. I would play Slayton, Corey. I like Boyd, but he's his team's wide receiver 3. And Curtis Samuel has been good as well, but he's his team's wide receiver 2. Slayton is his team's wide receiver 1. I would take Slayton. He's been really good the past month, basically. Month plus. Nick Rizzo, what's going on, Nick? We gotta play 2 of these guys. Deontay, Latavius Murray, Christian Watson, Evan Ingram. I'll play Murray and Watson. Murray had a bad game last week, but he still logged 53% of the snaps and had 4 or 5 targets, somewhere around there. And it's a favorable matchup against Arizona when you factor in all the variables. Like Kyler Murray's out, Colt McCoy is in. If Colt McCoy has backup quarterback Colt McCoy moment, if he could create a potentially short field for the Broncos offense. They're down Cortland Sutton. They're down Kendall Hinton. They could run a little bit more. They could dump it off to Murray a little bit more. I think volume is in Murray's favor today. And then Watson he's all upside, right? He's been making huge plays for the past 6 weeks. It feels so long ago because the Packers had a bye week last week. But Christian Watson is like the all upside play of upside plays of recently. Every game for the past month, he has been on fire. Watson. I would play Murray and Watson, Nick. That's exactly where I would go. What's going on, Dylan? Start one between Watson or Pacheco. Jesus. I want to play both, but I don't want to sit Christian Watson after what I just told Nick about starting him. But if you have Pacheco against Houston, the most favorable matchup for opposing running backs on the slate, I think it's got to be Pacheco. I would love to find a way to play them both, though, if I could. But, I mean, Pacheco against the Houston Texans, that's pretty damn enticing. What's going on, George? I would not play Jamal Williams if you have Higgins and Mike Evans ready to go in the late window. Not against the Jets on the road. Normally, like Jamal Williams at home in any matchup, you probably just got to go with it. But on the road against a good run defense where the Lions they've been much worse. I'll play Higgins, and if Higgins is a surprise inactive, then you can pivot to Evans. That's exactly what I would do. Don't play Jamal Williams. Wait on those wide receivers. Pyro feeling. What's up, Pyro? Good to see you. Higgins or Swift, full PPR? Okay, so it's Higgins, but I understand Higgins burned us last week, right? Well, Higgins didn't burn us. The Bengals burned us. The Bengals failed to disclose information. They took him off the injury report, and then and then they just like held him out for the entire game, which was Bush League by Cincinnati. I don't think they're going to do that 2 weeks in a row. I really don't think they're going to do that 2 weeks in a row. Swift is in a tough matchup. He's been tougher to trust this year. I want Higgins in a matchup where, remember, Baltimore lost last week. Cincinnati can take an extra step up in their quest to clinch the AFC North today. He's expected to go. T. Higgins has been a wide receiver 1 this year, or he's at least given you solid wide receiver 2 production damn near every week that he's out there. Higgins. Swift's in a bad matchup. Higgins is, I expect Higgins to actually play today. I would just say, Pyro, like, have a backup plan ready to go. Have somebody in the late window. If there's somebody on waivers that you need to pick up, just be prepared. But I'm willing to roll the dice on that so that I can play T. Higgins. And he's expected to play, so that's who I'm firing up. What's up, Nemo? Good to see you, man. Hope all is well. Dylan McKee, Burkhead or Foreman? We're going Foreman, baby. I'm going Foreman. I don't trust Rex should be fine, but I don't know. Will it be Daria Gumbawale today? Did Houston make any transactions? Did they call somebody up from the practice squad in the past couple of days? I'm just taking a look. Let's see. Oh, they put Dameon Pierce on. Did they put him on injured reserve? Dang. I didn't even notice that. Does that mean he's out for the season? Is Pierce out for the year? He's on IR. Yeah, he's done. I didn't even realize that. Pierce is out for the season. See, I don't know if it's going to be Burkhead. I don't know if it's going to be a Gumbawale. Are they going to call up Jared Dokes? Or who else do they have on the roster? They got somebody else on the roster. Oh, Royce Freeman. Yeah, I mean, give me Foreman because I know for a fact that he produces at home. Again, in every home game since the Panthers traded Christian McCaffrey, Foreman has cleared 100 yards rushing. I want that floor. I want the floor that Foreman brings to the table. It should be rock solid. I'm playing Foreman. As far as Philly and Kansas City, Corey, I'll play the Chiefs against Houston. I like the Eagles. The Eagles defense should be just fine, but Justin Fields presents a potential matchup issue that Davis Mills doesn't. We expect the Chiefs to have a comfortable lead in that game. We expect Philly to as well, but Justin Fields is a Konami code. He's a cheat code. Houston doesn't have anything like that. They're once again down their starting receivers. Brandon Cooks out. Nico Collins out. Dameon Pierce is done. Houston is just they can't wait to get to the golf course in a couple of weeks, right? Houston just wants their season to be over. Give me the Chiefs. I'll take the Chiefs. There should be plenty of opportunities for them to make plays with a lead. And George, you're going against Mahomes. Okay, Hopkins, Godwin. Okay. Well, you can siphon points away from Mahomes since you have Kelsey, and then A.J. Brown is A.J. Brown. He's been awesome. It looks like you got some horses to help you out. Let's get these wins today. Delusional Tanner, what's going on, Tanner? Rachaad White or Zonovan Knight? So this is tough. This is tight. It's close, but I'm gonna go Rachaad White because it's full PPR. He's proven to have a solid 5-catch floor the past few weeks. And he's not suffering a quarterback downgrade the way Zonovan Knight is. It's hard to trust Zach Wilson because he hasn't given us anything to believe in this year. If it was Mike White still in a quarterback for the Lions, it'd be a different story. But Zach Wilson downgrades the offense, and it's a bad matchup. It's a bad matchup. The Lions are really good against the run. Rachaad White in full PPR has a strong catch floor of around 4 or 5. There's nothing too scary about the matchup. I would go Rachaad White. Give me a check down option for Tom Brady over a running back for Zach Wilson. I'll take Rachaad White. You're playing against Fields Court. I mean, so yes, you could run the chance of doubling up on your opportunities if Fields has a bad game and the Eagles force him into a bad game. That's certainly possible. But also, if there's one part of the Eagles defense that you can exploit, it should be their run defense, and Fields as a dual threat quarterback is going to present a bit of a matchup issue for the Eagles. Kansas City doesn't have that concern, not with what Houston's rolling out on offense. We're at the end of the chat. And obviously John is still recovering from COVID. He might be taking a nap or something, which he needs if he needs the rest. We are at the end of the chat. We're probably going to start getting inactives rolling in shortly, so I can stick around to make sure that we get those cleared up and confirmed. If there are any other questions, we may go ahead and call this for now. We got Marshawn Lattimore is inactive for week 15. That could help Drake London if anybody's looking at Drake London. Jawan Johnson is active. James Robinson, once again, inactive. N'Keal Harry's inactive. Trevor Lawrence is active. Julio Jones not expected to play. Justin Jackson is active. That's annoying for both DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams. Yeah, they're just rolling in now. Kadarius Toney's active. I don't see anything about Troutman as far as it pertains to Jawan Johnson. Chris Jones is active for the Chiefs. That's so Chris Jones active for the Chiefs. That's a huge piece of their defense. So you obviously want that. I don't see anything for Troutman yet. But Jawan Johnson was removed from the injury report, so that's good. Yeah. So again, just keep an eye on inactives. DJ Moore is officially active. That's not a surprise. We figured he would be playing today. Trayvon Walker is inactive for the Jaguars. That hurts their defense. That definitely hurts their defense. It's not as great. It's not as good for Jacksonville. Yeah, so we'll continue to keep an eye on these as they continue to roll in. Herbert or Fields? I mean, I guess I would take the safe play and play Herbert, Joe. Tennessee's giving up tons of points in the secondary to opposing wide receivers. Herbert can absolutely take advantage of that. I love Fields. I would normally say Fields, but against the Eagles, it's just like there's a significant matchup difference here. Herbert's got a good matchup. Fields has about as tough of a matchup as it can get. So I'll say Herbert. And then I'll go, I mean, I guess between Chris Moore and Zay Jones, I'll play Moore. The opportunity is wide open for him. And Kansas City's actually got a beatable secondary. I like their chances today to make plays just because Houston is inept, but they're going to be throwing all game. So I'll take Chris Moore. Zay Jones has a tougher matchup by the numbers. The Cowboys are tough. They're tough on defense. Kansas City's it's a great opportunity. I'll take an average defense attached to a great offense like the one that, in Kansas City, when I expect them to win the game. But that doesn't mean that there can't be still opportunities for production against them, and I'll take more in that situation. As far as Waller, Corey, when he was healthy this year, he had 2 good games in great matchups. One being Arizona, which is the best matchup for tight ends. He had 2 dud weeks when he was healthy, and then he hasn't played for 2 months, almost 2.5 months. It's just hard to trust him, that's all. I guess if Troutman is active, which muddies the waters for Jawan Johnson and also Taysom Hill, then obviously we know that Waller has the wide open opportunity. I don't see anything about Troutman yet. T. Higgins is probable. Ramondre Stevenson is probable. Josh Jacobs is probable. Tyler Boyd is probable. And Jacoby Myers is officially probable. Julio Jones is doubtful. So as far as Waller, it's just, it's the issue of, can you trust a guy who hasn't played in 2.5 months and wasn't that good for the last couple of weeks that he played prior to the injury? I guess I would just keep an eye on Adam Troutman, who is officially healthy. I just got the update. Adam Troutman is healthy. So that muddies the waters for Jawan Johnson. Corey, if you want to roll the dice on Waller, if your alternative is Jawan Johnson, that's fine. I'm not crazy about it. But obviously, you drafted Waller high with the intent, with the goal and intent of him being having top 5 upside at the position any given week. I guess given those choices, you can rock with Waller. You can give Waller a shot. Troutman's healthy. Taysom Hill's healthy. I guess it could be a little, the opportunities could be a little, a little bit more sporadic for Juwan Johnson. I guess you could go Waller. Foster Moreau might mix in a little bit more than we like, though, just in his first game back. Plus, remember, Devontae Adams is now like the target hog of that offense, or he should be anyway. But I guess you can fire up Waller if your alternative is one of the Saints tight ends. So, yeah. I don't know that there are any other big... Yeah, Trevor Lawrence is officially active. DJ Moore, Kadarius Toney officially active. Those are... Khalil Herbert remains out today. I'm still worried about David Montgomery going against the Eagles. And... Yeah, Drake London gets a bit of a boost with Marshawn Lattimore out. So those are the inactives. We are at the end of the chat, and with John still ailing, we might go ahead and call this early. Let me just got a few more updates here. What is this? Laviska Shenault is healthy. Okay. Jalen Tolbert is out. Okay. We are at the end of the chat. Appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out ahead of the fantasy playoffs. Best of luck to everybody. Hopefully we get these playoff wins. If there are any last-minute questions that may come up in the next hour, you can hit our Discord. Second link in the description of this video if you are not already a part of it. And you can certainly crowdsource information, and we'll be taking a look at it as well. We'll be keeping an eye on it as well if any other questions come up between now and kickoff. That's going to do it for us today. Let me just double-check with John to see if he is around. Let me see. He might be resting, which he definitely needs. That is going to do it for us, though. Again, good luck to everybody in their matchups today. Thanks, everybody, for coming in. Thank you for the likes. Lucius, thank you for the super chat. Much appreciated. Let's get these wins. Let's get these playoff matchups, and let's advance to next week. Best of luck, everybody. Hopefully, we'll be talking to you next week with a Week 16 playoff matchup on the books. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.